Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blessed.
Yeah. Just keeping the family. Yeah.
Wow. Sick.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Steering Hot Wheels.
My name is Seth.
I'm Adam.
And my name is Seth.
And today we have our friend TJ with us.
Boo, 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 boo. Let's go.
Very
Was
excited
that
to
your
have.
best air horn?
Yeah. It's all right.
TJ is worship extraordinaire, DJ extraordinaire,
Music
youth
extraordinaire.
camp coordinator extraordinaire, Hawaiian extraordinaire.
Got any other extraordinaires you want to add on there, TJ?
Dude, yes. I'm pretty mad at being extraordinary. Rare.
But yes, welcome to Staring at Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit.
It has been
It's
a little bit.
a fresh minute. We haven't released an episode yet this month, which we do apologize for. The last episode that we recorded, we just weren't happy with, and if anything, we just one thing above all, we want to remain consistent with you guys, especially consistent in putting out good content.
Yeah.
And so we took a little couple week hiatus, but we're back. And don't worry, we're not dead.
We're not going anywhere
There's
either.
Probably one guy out there of the, I don't know, how many do we have? Like
I don't even remember.
I don't know,
I
few
haven't
hun-
looked in a
a
bit.
few hundred people that were
Yeah.
like, I hope they're not dead.
Yeah. The one dude that's...
This is for you, one dude.
That's the one dude who streamed from like Jamaica or whatever it was.
Why does he have to be foreign?
No, I'm serious. Like because it shows the demographic of where everyone listens. Everyone's mostly in Washington, but there's one dude who's like in Jamaica or like Cayman Islands.
We got one guy from Jamaica.
It's like the Cayman Islands. It's some like tropical place
Hey,
down near Florida.
Tropical dude, please reach out. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I need to know more.
We'll
We're
get you
coming
on
to
a
you
Zoom
next
version of the
pod.
podcast.
Yeah.
Jamaica.
But
We're broke. We can't fly you out, but
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out.
Question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do a 10-minute one shot?
Heck yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
TJ, do you have any experience with anything nerdy at all?
I'm pretty nerdy, I
Yeah?
would say.
So, have you heard of D&D?
Oh, yes, I did.
Have you played D&D?
I had a little stint, especially during COVID.
Okay, cool.
I feel like everyone
Yeah.
tried something during COVID.
Gotcha.
So D&D was one of those things I tried.
Sick. So, I don't have to explain a little bit too much, but basically, we start every show with a 10-minute one shot.
Yeah.
I don't plan it out at all. I keep it like relatively like, I try and make it relevant to the topic,
Yeah.
but just a little thing to break the ice, get the giggles out, something
Yeah.
like that. So we kind of jump right into it.
Let's go. This is for you, Jamaica.
Yeah.
Also, TJ, for most of our guests, I haven't been consistent, but we give a die as a thank you for coming on the show. So that's your special die that we got for you.
That's a sick
Let's
dice,
go.
actually.
That's-
Yeah, I know.
I love this color.
I forget. I get most of those out of like Magic the Gathering, like big boxes. I don't remember what set that came out of. I remember most of them, but I can't remember that one
Okay.
for whatever reason.
Sick.
Sweet.
All right. You guys ready?
Heck yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. The name of this one shot is the Island Jamboree of Death. There is an island in the mystical land of Faerun called Zumba. And Zumba is known for one thing and one thing primarily. They throw the best party. They do one party a year as part of their culture, and it's a big event. And people from all across the land flock to Zumba once a year for this giant jamboree. You two are residents of Zumba, and the jamboree is like one of your favorite things, and you have the honor this year of planning the jamboree and making sure it goes smoothly. All right? So with that being said, Seth, what is your character's name and race?
My character's name is Tal Rival,
Tau Rival.
and I am a dwarf.
You're a dwarf. Okay, cool. TJ, what is your character's name
Yes.
and race?
My name's Wayne Johnson, and I'm a. Can I be a Minotaur?
Sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Why
Let's
not?
go.
Wayne Johnson, the Minotaur.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love that name.
So, Tao and Wayne,
Yeah.
what are you guys like doing this year to make sure the Jamboree stands out?
I have no. We need to have more dancing this year.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we have way more dancing
Yeah.
this year. Last year was lackluster at best.
Not enough Zumba.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
On the
How
islands.
how are you guys going to like ensure that there's more dancing this year?
We gotta expand the dance floor.
Bigger is better.
Bigger is better.
That's right. Go big or go home.
Last year it was like a foot of dance floor space. We need to make it like
Twice as
fif-
big. 3
50.
times 50
Yeah.
is times as
Yeah.
big.
Exactly.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool. So as you guys are talking, a little goblin runs into like the main like space that you guys are working in. He has like a yellow hard hat on, and he runs up, and you know this goblin to be Zeep.
Zeep.
Zeep is the head of like construction, and him and his goblin crew do most of the setup and tear down. And Zeep runs up to you and goes,
Okay, guys. We're ready. We just really need to know what you need. What are you planning out? What do you got?
Bigger dance floor.
That's right.
Okay.
50 times
50 times as big as last year.
as big as last year.
50 times. Okay, so the dance floor is 100 feet by 100 feet now, so it needs to be.
Maybe not 50 times.
Okay.
Make it 500 by 500.
Okay, I was gonna say, as a goblin, I can't do math very well, so just bigger.
Bigger.
Cool, man. I gotta tell you guys, like, the preparations this year have gone so smoothly that like the only thing that could really like get in trouble would be like Mount Zumba finally erupting after all these years, and the ancient evil cult that resides within coming and trying to ruin everything.
Yeah, that would ruin everything.
Yeah, that would be like ruin everything. And
Why are you still saying all these things? It feels like you're trying to ruin.
I'm just kind of setting up for when it eventually happens in 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
and at that moment, Mount Zumba behind you in the distance was a deep rumbling as the top blows and smoke starts to pillow into the air. And like this black smoke kind of like spirals off from it, kind of like haphazardly and like unnaturally. And like there's a deep like, and like these black mist spires like hit the ground, and out of them walk these tall men in dark robes with very like evil tribal looking masks, and they approach you and they say, "Who dares to step upon our sacred land?"
This is exactly what we've been hoping for. More
Yeah.
people on the dance floor.
More people on the dance floor. You guys are awesome. Hey, why didn't you come join us? We're in like a day. We're throwing the biggest party of the year. Come join us.
Biggest party, you say?
Biggest party of the year.
Can you guys roll me persuasion with disadvantage?
Oh, dang. So
Go ahead,
we're gonna
TJ.
roll twice and take the lower of the two.
Okay. 19.
19.
Let's go. 5.
I got a 10.
Okay. We'll just take TJ's roll.
Dang.
And the cultists kind of like look at each other a little bit and back at you, and they go, "I think we'd rather just murder you and take the island for ourselves."
Whoa, hey. Don't do that.
That's right. The dance floor is going to be twice, 50 times as big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think we can do it 50 times.
why do you want to kill us?
Because we were the original like people that dwelled on this land until we were sealed away by a mighty hero.
I get what you're trying to say, but we need to hang loose a little bit more, you know? We need to be loving, you know?
Do you do you want to roll another persuasion
Yeah,
check?
I do.
19.
Roll a 16.
They kind of like share like, yeah, we've neve tried love.
See? What did you try in the past? What worked in the past?
Mostly stabbing people and throwing them in a volcano.
Yeah. And what has happened? The volcanoes erupted every other time, right?
I mean, it kept going, yeah, but like not as bad.
Maybe
Like, we were thinking because like of the people, it wasn't like erupting as bad.
Sure. Maybe this time.
But then like we did it to so many people that like this mighty hero came and like sealed us into the volcano, and then like it did. Oh. Now I'm thinking that maybe the volcano was erupting because we were throwing so many people into it angrily.
So maybe now if we try like loving people and dancing and vibing, you know,
That's right.
it won't happen.
Mighty Hero loved dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was his name? It was like Hulk something, right?
That's right.
Yeah. I can't remember what his name
Yeah,
was.
his first name was Hulk.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
He used to like say it out loud as he would trap us in the volcano.
Hulk.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. I remember that dude.
How?
Well, I'm kind of old.
Okay. This is a weird conversation.
But anyways, tomorrow, biggest part of the year.
That's right.
You guys are all invited, all of you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got food. We got music. We got dancing.
The dance floor's bigger.
Dance floor's way bigger
It's so big.
this year.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
What's your name?
My name.
Yeah.
It's Zeeb, right? Wasn't it Zeeb?
No. That's
No,
the
no,
goblin.
that's my
that's
name.
the guy.
Sorry, I just we've been working together for years. I just thought you would
It's a small world.
remember that.
Yeah.
My name is Raptor.
Raptor. It's great to meet you. I'm Tao.
That's
Yeah,
right.
nice to meet you.
Good to
After
meet you.
you're probably a really good dancer.
I mean, we do these like cultural dances when we like we used to.
Can we
put
see
people-
one
We're
really
just
quick?
Dabbing each other.
Yeah, and it kind of does like a the little like. Yeah, and like we stab them, and then we like do one of these as like someone else would throw it in the volcano.
So
like
try that tomorrow, but without the stabbing.
so do that without the stabbing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Without throwing someone in a volcano.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, how many of y'all are there?
Well, we started with like 50,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the three of us came here because we're like the head guys.
Yeah.
And we can do like the smoke transportation thing.
Sure.
But there might, I don't know, maybe like 30 now.
Perfect.
Cool.
Y'all are welcome.
Awesome.
We gotta make more food though.
That's right.
But
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's great.
perfect.
Cool. We'll see you there.
See you there.
Yeah. Thanks. Cool. And we're just gonna go meander, I guess. Find a place to hang out for a day.
See, Zeeb, there was nothing to worry about.
I can't believe you just like handled that entire situation by like talking like casually.
The end.
The end.
Oh, my goodness. So good.
That was great.
Yeah, I've been loving these stretches where I haven't died in the.
Hey man, I gotta give you what you want a little bit. Like it's only fun if everyone enjoys it.
I have a question for y'all.
Okay.
Do you want to see the Hot Wheel of the week?
Absolutely.
Oh, let's go.
So the Hot Wheel of the week this week is a Ford Bronco R out of the Hot Wheels Hot Trucks collection from 2023.
Nice name.
This one's pretty cool. It's like almost like a Baja style truck, gray with some
Okay.
red accents.
Sick.
Sweet.
That one's pretty cool. I actually looked up. I don't do this for all of them, but I looked that one up on eBay. It recently sold for, believe it or not, $21.
Wow.
And I bought it for $1 originally.
Sick.
So,
Nice.
TJ, I have this
Okay.
weird obsession with Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
I I think at this point I own over 300 Hot Wheels.
No
Still in the
way.
package.
Like here?
Here and at my work at
Edge?
the PUD.
Yes.
I have this huge wall that lines my cubicle of
Okay.
just Hot Wheels.
Sick.
And
That's-
yeah, it's everyone that's like new, they see it and they're like, "Why do you have so many Hot Wheels?"
You're the Hot Wheel guy.
I'm kind of the hot like.
Yeah.
And I also have this big Lego Porsche that sits up on my filing cabinet,
What?
and it was funny. Our new like CFO, I didn't know who he was, and I was the only one that was like in our section at my work, and I see one of our lawyers and this dude come walking down, and they asked like, "Oh, where's your boss at?" I'm like, "Oh, he's off doing something. I'm the only one here right now." And they're like, "Oh, cool. Well, Seth, this is," and before the lawyer can even get anything out, the CFO dude, he like walks over and he goes, "This is so cool." He's talking about the Porsche, and then he sees the Hot Wheel wall, and then we just start talking about cars, and he like is a huge car fanatic, and then the lawyer, he's like, "Oh yeah, Seth, this is so and so, the new CFO," and I'm like, I went total like 20-year-old car mode talking to this dude, and then like later I saw him in the hallway, and he goes, "Hey, thank you for like treating me like a human instead of like a higher up," and I'm like, "I didn't know you were a higher up," but
That's sick.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do people like call you the Hot Wheel guy?
No.
You're just like, man,
No.
wait till you hear the name of my podcast.
That's right.
No, what people do call me is the chip guy.
Oh yeah.
Chip guy?
So my wife and I, we do these chip reviews on Instagram and TikTok.
Actually?
Yeah. So like I did live stream sound
Yeah.
this last weekend, and 3 people individually, as far as I know, without talking to each other beforehand.
Yeah.
Isai walked in and he went, "Chip people." Then Kantari walked in, she went, "Chip people." And then Aaron Lane walked in and he went, "Chip people." And I'm like, what is going on? Do you guys talk about this?
Dude, people recognize Seth around town.
Yeah.
Yes. Like,
I went through Dutch Bros, the line at Dutch Bros near the PUD building,
Yeah.
and I pulled up. I ordered at the first window, and I pulled up to the second window, and the guy goes, "Hey, you're the chip guy, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then he's like, everyone come here." And he pulled up his phone and pulled up Instagram, and he had the one of the first videos that I put up, and he goes, "That's this dude."
Is it just on your personal page? Or?
Yeah, my personal page. Yeah. Seth Gamble Woo.
Yeah.
so random.
It's so good though.
It's great. TJ, do you?
Yeah.
We kind of ask this question to all of our guests to just kind of kick it off a little bit, but
Yeah.
keeping with the theme of the name of our podcast, do you have like a favorite, like a dream car?
Oh, favorite dream car? Yes, I was actually thinking about this. When I was really young, like I always loved the idea of maybe owning a Nissan Skyline one day. I think because it was like the fastest car at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
And then, yeah, growing up, I feel like I became way less, I don't know, maybe out there. But now, like, I would settle for, like, just a brand new truck. It doesn't matter, like, if it's,
That's
like,
fair.
F-150 I heard the last podcast.
Mhm.
Yeah, just a newer truck.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Something under
Yeah.
300,000 miles.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always see these videos pop up on my Instagram feed
Yeah.
of like people that win like a sports car and like comes to their house like, "Oh my gosh, I won like a Lambo or like a Porsche or something," and I would hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when Wenatchee.
Yeah, like I was like I work blue collar.
Yeah.
I have to drive this to work every day. My street's kind of narrow.
Yeah.
Like this is just. And it's so funny because like if you were a kid, you'd be like, "I got a sport like a
Yeah.
freaking Porsche or whatever." Like, but like
Totally.
now you're like,
Yeah.
now I gotta go sell this thing. I gotta through all the paperwork.
The taxes.
They're gonna they're gonna lowball me because the price dropped because when it got off the truck and
Yeah.
jeez.
It is. And, like, the maintenance on, like, specialty parts for
Right.
specialty vehicles.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like taking it in all the
Just-
time. Like
You can't just use a normal wrench.
no.
It's got to be special, custom, or whatever. But, yeah, I have a friend who owns, like, a Maserati. Like, I don't know if you've ever ridden in one of those.
No.
Like, like they're not made for chunky badunkies like me, you know.
Right.
Like yeah, I feel so like big in there. And then like how low it sits to the ground. I'm like, man,
I might be
gotta work on my
I might be
squats.
shooting myself in the foot because my dream car is a K truck,
yeah.
and like I have body dysmorphia in the fact that sometimes I don't feel like I'm as big as I am
Yeah.
until people are like, "You're a big guy, Adam," you know. So like I'm scared that I'm gonna get a K truck and it's gonna be a little bit cramped for me.
Oh, yeah.
So I should probably go sit in one
Yeah.
before I pull the trigger one day.
Get you in contact with the guy that works at the PUD that owns one.
Okay, sounds good.
See if he'll give you a ride.
Sick.
Yeah.
My dream car is an '89 Honda Prelude.
Yeah.
I learned how to drive stick in my grandma's yellow '89 Honda Prelude.
Yeah.
I love this car. It was like the perfect amount of fast but manageable.
Yeah.
And then she had said like, "Oh, I'll give it to you as your first car."
Yeah.
And then like 3 weeks before I got my license, she sold it. And I was like, "No!" And I've been looking for preferably a yellow one, but I'd take any at this point.
Yeah.
And there was this dude who pulled into the PUD parking lot. I saw him pull in. I'm like,
Yeah.
and he's driving a like mint yellow one. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So I went down and talked to the dude. I'm like, hey, if you ever want to sell it, like, here's my card. Like, give me a call. All of the numbers work.
Yeah.
And he emailed me and he goes, hey, I thought about it. I'm willing to sell it. Here's how much I want to sell it for.
Yeah.
He wanted to sell it for like $24,000, and I was like,
Bro.
nah, I don't need it that bad.
Oof.
Jeez.
But yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
TJ, tell us a little bit about yourself. What your likes, dislikes, what brought you to the greater Wenatchee area?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like kind of TJ's origin story.
Yeah, a
Like how
little
far
bit.
back do you want me to start?
However back you feel comfortable sharing.
The beginning.
Well,
Yeah.
we know the beginning. God,
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah.
He made light.
My parents found each other. Yeah. Humped a little bit. So, can I say that on here?
Sure, man.
And yeah. Well, my parents met in Hawaii. They're from, like, my mom grew up, I don't know how familiar you guys are with, like, the Pacific Islands.
Island
but
placement?
yeah. So my mom kind of grew up down in the Marshall Islands, also in the Gilbert Islands, so not in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Then she ended up moving to Hawaii. The Marshall Islands is U.S. territory, so you can travel kind of back and forth, like, just with the regular license kind of thing. The Marshall Islands is where the U.S. tested, like, the nuclear bombs.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of the Marshallese people, at least, suffered from a lot of, like, radiation from cancer from the bombs being dropped there. So for me, like, being in Washington, especially driving over by, like, Hanford, like, it's kind of sends some chills down my spine.
Right.
Yeah.
And gets me pretty sad. My dad died from brain cancer when I was 2. And his parents before that all died from cancer as well. So we think a large in part to, like, the radiation effect from the bombs, because it, like, poisoned the waters for the people. And like, yeah. Anyways, so my parents met in Hawaii. My dad, like I said, died from brain cancer when I was 2. At the time, he was going to college at the UH in Hawaii. And yeah, my mom, for most of her childhood, she dropped out of school when she was in the 5th grade or something like that, and was forced to kind of take care of her family. She has, like, over 20 siblings, like half siblings kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because my grandfather had, like, 5 different wives. He was, I guess, a sailor, so he'd just go around multiplying.
Gotcha.
You know, but yeah, so she was one of 20 something siblings, and then she ended up having to raise her parents, and, like, she dropped out of school in 5th grade, so very uneducated woman. But I have 6 sisters and 2 brothers. I'm number 6 of that lineup. 2 of my younger siblings we had adopted, and like my older siblings are all like half siblings as well. So they were all given away to like either their fathers or was adopted by other people. But I was the only one my mom had kept when she had met my dad at the time.
Mm.
And then I'm trying to think of where I go from there. So,
So did you
yeah.
grow up in Hawaii a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised in Hawaii. I was raised most by my mother and also by my stepdad, who I've always known as my dad because I was just too young to remember any other father figure.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad, my stepdad, and my mom raised me. I didn't come from a Christian home. My mom was sort of universalist, if you will.
Sure.
So like really caring, really respectful of a lot of people's beliefs kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she would like, I just remember growing up, we'd one day be sitting in our living room like this, Jehovah's Witness be knocking on the door, we'd invite them in. Next day, Mormons be knocking on the door, we'd invite them in. The next day, I'd have family members coming over, doing like witchcraft on me kind of thing. So it was crazy childhood growing up for me. And yeah. I also grew up really poor in Hawaii. I think a lot of people fantasize about living in Hawaii, but I grew up on the poor side of the island.
What island did you grow up on?
On the Big Island.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of drugs, and we're like the ice capital of like America. And I also grew up without like running water and electricity for most of my life. Grew up in a shack. So we slept in a tent that was in the shack, and like whenever it rained really hard, it would just like be dripping water in the inside of our house. And I remember it was really tough for me, especially growing up, because I never wanted to like invited like people over because I was just really ashamed of like I don't want Adam to come over and see my house. Like I live in a tent.
Right.
We don't even have a bathroom I could offer him, kind of thing. You know. Yeah, so I dealt with a lot of shame growing up, just because, I always called myself the poorest of the poor kids, and yeah.
Yeah. So how did you come to know the Lord?
Yeah, I came to faith largely in part to, I guess for me it was a Young Life leader who was I don't know if you're familiar with Young Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Young Life leader who was also he was my elementary PE teacher that sort of followed me as I progressed into middle school, into high school. So super weird, but just how his job changed. Like it was almost like he was following me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was this one dude, Ward Gardner is his name. But I remember Mr. Gardner, I don't know, there was just something different about him. He was this white dude that cared about like getting to know me and the brown kids. And like he would do things where he would just like, hey, how do I say this in your language? Or how do I, talk to your parents so that they can understand like what we're doing? But he was doing this thing called Young Life Club in our town. And I started going to this Young Life Club, and every Monday night, so it's comparable to like youth group, if you will, but different in the fact that Young Life, their approach is like going after really non-church kids and introducing them to Christ. So started going to Young Life Club, and that's like the first time I'd started hearing about the gospel, started hearing about Jesus, and started hearing about the idea that Jesus wants a relationship with me. But I'd gone to this Young Life Club for like the school year, and then was invited to every summer. Young Life focuses on getting kids to a Young Life camp, so they pull them away once a week. For us in Hawaii, we were going to a camp in California, camp called Oak Bridge, and I was given a chance to go to this camp. I couldn't afford it, never in a million years. It was like $2,000 for the week, and my Young Life leader gave me tons of opportunities to raise money, and got tons of scholarship money as well, and then experienced the Young Life camp. So I went like to 2 different Young Life camps over like my high school, middle school years, and then I went to a third Young Life camp, and like immediately following that Young Life camp, I was kind of in a place where like I decided maybe I should start seeking this Jesus guy. Like there's something about Jesus. So then I was also a musician growing up, played in tons of bands, but I remember one of the kids who I played music with was a drummer I knew he was a drummer at one of the churches in town. So I said, hey, yo, Joe, can you take me to church with you one Sunday? And then me and Joe, after like one of our performances, went straight to church. And then I remember going to church and was offered a chance to go to like a youth group like weekend that they were doing, like a youth conference kind of deal. And it was at that conference where I finally given my life to the Lord. And I think at the time the speaker was like, I forgot the speaker's name, but he was part of like T.D. Jakes' church. It's like one of the satellite pastors for T.D. Jakes. Anyways, he had preached and he was talking about the idea of God being a father to the fatherless. And for me, kind of growing up, that was always like the hole in my heart, you know?
Yeah.
Because my stepdad, who did raise me, I love him, but he was really, really abusive, especially to his kids. And our family, like I suffered a lot of emotional abuse, physical abuse, even sexual abuse when I was super young. But with that said, like I had a lot of hurt from my earthly dad, and always my whole life had thought about like, you know, what would life be like if my real dad were still alive? Someone who was sort of educated, someone who's actually, you know, the way my mom talked about him was like someone who had like just had it going for him kind of thing. But yeah, when that pastor was talking about like God being a father to the fatherless, I think that was really the hook for me. And like still to this day, when we sing songs like You're a Good Father, like those kinds of songs that talk about God being a dad, like it still hurts.
Yeah.
Like to sing, even though I know that God is a good father. But yeah.
So what brought you to the greater Wenatchee area specifically?
Oh yeah. So when I went to this youth camp, I want to say it was like my junior year in high school, going into my senior year. So then I started going frequently, like I was hooked immediately, started going to youth group, really got involved with the church and started serving on the worship team at the youth group, and then eventually Sunday morning church worship team. And then I remember there was this family that were like snowbirds. So from Chelan, they would come down to Hawaii during the winters to escape all the snow up here. Because they lived like way up First Creek. I don't know if you know where that is.
Yeah.
Up in Navarre. So we're in Chelan. So at the very end of First Creek. So they had some deep winters up there. But they would come down. Their family would somehow just landed in our church, and they had some kids that I ended up befriending, and like their family owned like a jet ski boat rental over in Lake Chelan. So they were like, hey, TJ, what are your plans after you graduate high school? So I was like, I don't really have plans. Like, I didn't really want to go to college. I kind of did, but I didn't really want to immediately take a gap year kind of thing. But I said I had no plans after I graduated high school. So they were like, hey, why don't you come work for my dad for the summer? Like, it'd be just like renting jet skis and boats. It's on a lake. It's pretty cool. And I was like, jokingly, I'd said yes. But I get a phone call like a week later after we had this conversation, me and the kids. And like one of the kids called me up, was like, hey, my dad just bought your plane ticket. You're going to come live with us. And you're going to come work for us over on the lake. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sounds like fun. I'm also Enneagram 7. So I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. Sure, why not?
Right.
And yeah, a couple days after graduating high school, on the Big Island, flew to at the time I couldn't even pronounce Wenatchee. I was like, hey, like I flew to SeaTac and I was like, where's the gate for Wenatchee? Like, over in Alaska. But yeah, they were like, oh, Wenatchee is down at Endgates or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flew into Wenatchee. Yeah, like a week out of high school.
Wow.
How
Okay.
did your mom react?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, my mom, I was the only kid that she had kept, besides us adopting 2 later on in life. Like, so I was really, really sheltered, and like I felt like my mom was like overprotective of me
Helicopter parent.
growing up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like super, like you can't do this, you can't do this. So she was always like afraid of me leaving. But also our culture, like Marshallese, Micronesian, Islanders in general, they tend to just stick together forever. Yeah. So like everyone will live at the same house kind of thing for the rest of their life.
Cool.
Yeah. So I was kind of like the black sheep of the family. But I guess in my culture's eyes, it'd be like, oh, kind of being whitewashed, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Buying into this individualistic culture.
Is she still down there?
Yeah. My parents are still down there. Mom, stepdad, and a lot of my siblings, at least.
I have some family that live on Oahu,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
they my great aunt, who was or I guess it's great aunt. She's my great grandma's sister.
Yeah.
And she married an islander who they had known each other for, I'm not joking, 2 weeks, when they were just like shotgun wedding, let's do this, and they got married.
That's right.
And Winston's parents hated it.
Yeah.
They were like, nah, you marry a white girl, no,
Yeah.
you shouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they moved in the 50s to
Yeah.
this house. What they described when they bought it at the time was considered a small house.
Yeah.
On Oahu, and it's a like 8-bedroom mansion, and they've never moved out of it. They've had this house forever, and like we'll go there and we'll stay with them and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while, but I have, and like this place is surrounded by like highways and
Yeah.
like way smaller houses, and then there's this complex where they all live in, and they have a daughter and they have a daughter and their son, and then the daughter married off and had a kiddo, but they all live in this house together.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go and see him and stuff like that occasionally. And like Oahu's beautiful island. I've never been to the Big Island. Like, is that like what's the culture like compared to like different islands? Is there a
sure,
difference?
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Adam, have you been to Hawaii before?
No.
No.
I really want to. My wife's been there, so she's always talking about taking me.
Yeah. Okay, so Oahu, like how I describe Oahu to people who just have never been, especially downtown, like Waikiki, that is LA on a rock. So if you love like the big city life, like Oahu is kind of it. But also Oahu has like Pearl Harbor, so you get to see some of the U.S. history. So I think that's one of the coolest parts. And then like half the population of Hawaii, like the state of Hawaii, because the state of Hawaii has like 6 islands, I think. I can't remember at this point. So 6 different islands, and half of our population is all on Oahu. And it's not even the biggest island. It's like one of the middle largest islands. Yeah. And then with that said, with a ton of people, like there's just like sort of that city culture. But if you're like downtown, but if you go up north, then it's like surfer dudes and yo, sick, stoked, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go downtown into the city, and then people are like, you know, trying to be gangsters and tons of gangs actually on Oahu. Yeah, but the Big Island and the other islands, I guess, definitely more country.
Okay.
Some of the islands are really starting to get developed, like Maui, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We so I've been to every island but the Big Island at this point.
Yeah.
And by far the island I liked the most was Maui.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford to stay in like the resorts and stuff like that.
Sure.
But we would get these Airbnbs in just these like super remote places, and you're like, how is this or like $200 a night? Like,
yeah.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
And something I always loved. I have two really like fun things that always happened. Is my Uncle Kyle. He always had a moped.
Yeah.
He drove everywhere across Oahu.
Yeah.
And we were driving. I was right on the back with him, and he was like, "What's that noise?" And it was like this, like rumbling. And we're like, I looked, and there's no truck, but there's this black cloud that's like street 20 feet in the air.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I like, there's some black cloud that's like completely covering the street.
Yeah.
He goes, locusts. And we got swarmed
That's wild.
with locusts out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so that happened one time, and I look back on that really fondly because it was like one of the last really good memories I had with him.
Yeah.
And then when I was younger, he taught me how to surf too, and he took me to Kauai to do that.
Okay.
And that was so much fun. And they just kept a surfboard for me in Hawaii, and I think they've sold it now. But every time we would go, we probably went 3 times, once every 3 years or so, and I would just like take the surfboard, and that's all I did. My parents wouldn't see me for hours because I'd just be out surfing. Yeah. But yeah, I love the islands. They're so much fun. But off of that, where I was going with that is with you living on the Big Island. Like, is there a big music culture within the Big Island?
Oh yeah.
That brought you into being a musician?
Oh sure. Yeah, I feel like Islanders in general, like music's such a big part of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's ingrained into us from birth. I feel like we're forced to dance and sing like at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when I moved up here, definitely culture shock. Just thinking about things like just hearing people's stories of like going to school and not doing like so much like dancing,
Mm-hmm.
or, like, you know, anything real like cultural, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock for me. So yes, definitely huge music culture, but yeah, and specifically my family, a lot of like on my mom's side especially, I did grow up in a musical family. So a lot of performers, entertainers. My mom's side of the family were all like musicians as well. But I didn't really grow up with a lot of my family, just some of them. I guess that's what happens when you have like 20 siblings and just stupid huge family. But yeah, everyone plays music. I remember like second grade is the first time we had ukulele classes in school. Second grade, 7th grade, and 9th grade as an elective. Everyone's like forced to kind of learn some of the traditional like Hawaiian dances and chants and singing growing up. And we'd have like every year for May Day these big performances of like celebrating specifically the Hawaiian culture.
That's
so
cool.
It doesn't matter what, like if you go to public school, like you're learning the Hawaiian culture.
That's cool.
It doesn't matter what race you are.
Yeah.
I feel like it's maybe I shouldn't laugh. Maybe it's not funny, but like Hawaiians being forced to take ukulele classes in the second grade is such like a white guy thing that someone would just automatically think about Hawaii with no information about it, and to realize that like, that's like true is pretty funny.
So what we Adam and I know you for playing piano.
Yeah.
And I know that you also DJ. What other instruments do you know how to play, and which one's your favorite?
Oh, yeah, good question. Yeah, I started off playing ukulele, for most of my life, and then I started branching off to different instruments. Like I joined a Hawaiian music ensemble in 8th grade, and then originally started playing ukulele. Then I learned how to play bass in like 9th grade, and then you combine the two. Now you're playing guitar, so you combine the two instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And then from guitar, like at the time, the bands I was playing with, like they just didn't have a keyboard player or piano player.
Yeah.
So then I was like, yeah, sure, I'll try that. So then started learning how to play piano, and then when I moved up here, I was actually drumming for a lot of churches. So I moved up here. My high school years, started playing drums way more than I would have back home, because I've just been super blessed to have phenomenal drummers growing up, at least. But yeah, I kind of play a lot.
Play anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
pick it up pretty quick.
What's your favorite?
It just, for me, it just depends on who am I playing with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at Sage with like
Mm-hmm.
the primary like worship people. Is it keys?
Exactly. So in a perfect world, I would have somebody else also playing piano, so that I can focus a lot on the sound effects. Like I love being an
Pads
auxiliary
and stuff like that.
keyboardist. Yeah.
Okay.
So pads, making it sound super techno, rave, even. I love all the sound effects.
I told Nathan Holterhoff years ago. I think it was definitely before Adam came to our church, but I was like, we were running tech and helping run the youth group at the time. We're like, we need to do a techno worship set.
Yeah.
We just need to figure it out.
Yeah.
I have no clue how it would work, but we were like, we got to do this. And
Sick.
we never ended up doing it
Yeah.
because we couldn't ever get approval to do it. But that was always something that we were like, man, that'd be so cool. And we also thought about doing a metal worship set, and then we're like, nope, that if techno can't get approved, metal's definitely not going to.
That'd be kind of stretching.
So something we like to do.
Well, I actually have
Sorry.
two more.
Okay.
Two more questions. So first one, I just thought of this. I think it's a really good question.
Yeah.
But at Christian churches in Hawaii,
Yeah.
is the worship different than over here on the mainland?
Oh,
And
yes.
and how so?
Well, the church I started going to, like when I first started going to church, was an Assemblies of God church. And for that church specifically.
Oh, dude, same. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where I got saved.
Oh, Assembly of God? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that church, like the pastor also graduated from Hillsong, so we were doing already a lot of Hillsong, but gospel. But I think the churches tend to take on the maybe identity of whoever the worship pastor is at the time.
Okay.
So the thing I see here a lot, especially in different churches, is a lot of classically trained pianists. So like singing hymns and things like that. Like I'd never experienced that until I moved up here, and I'm like, oh man, everyone's classically trained pianists around here.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I feel like Sage has definitely moved into more of that CCM realm where it's like
So would you say because like Hawaiians are like music is such a big part of their culture that makes the worship pastors in Hawaii like a little bit more like influential than they would be in the US?
Influential.
Maybe influential isn't the right word for it, but like held in maybe like a higher regard.
Yeah.
Not that they're not here, but
Yeah. I guess I can really only speak from my experience as far as like different worship leaders I've encountered in Hawaii. And from my experience, it it really just depended on like the church and the church's leadership team at the time, because some of them have like way higher standards. Some of them are like, oh, please, we'll take anybody. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you were doing last night, like we'll take anybody. Yeah, I would say it's a little, especially in Hawaii, it's way less like rigid and like scheduled, because like everyone shows up late to everything in Hawaii, so really unstructured.
Island time.
Exactly. Island time's a real thing. So that's probably the biggest shock you'll encounter with maybe worship teams from Hawaii. Sometimes we'll show up to Sunday and we don't even know what the set is.
Oh.
But we're just going to flow with it.
Fun.
Love that.
And that's kind of like how I feel like I was really, really, trained to follow at least. So now I can just kind of follow whoever, whenever, all the time.
That's cool.
And it doesn't freak me out, I guess.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it would be hard to be able to pull off all the different elements. Like if you're running slides for someone who doesn't have any structure, like that sucks.
Yeah.
You're just always guessing and like.
Imagine this is. I'm just imagining Aaron Lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
he would not survive.
What are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But in Hawaii, it's so normal. Or from my experience, at
Yeah.
least.
So
That's
my
cool.
my second question statement. So my second favorite food of all time is Hawaiian food.
Yeah.
I always describe it like Japanese food got punched in the face by America.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got Seth. Sorry. But so my question is, like, you as like a native Hawaiian, is there like an underrated Hawaiian food that like you wish was more like mainstream, that you wish more people knew about?
Oh, dude. Yes. We have guava syrup in Hawaii.
Guava syrup.
Oh,
Yeah.
it
Like
sounds
you just go to a
delicious.
restaurant and you can put guava syrup all over your pancakes.
Oh, okay.
Dude, it's like crack. I'm not even joking. It's so good. Like guava syrup. They also have like lilikoi or passion fruit
Mhm.
syrup. So good. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not too big on coconut. Yeah.
Okay.
I might be one of the few islanders that hates coconut.
I can't stand coconut either. My wife,
Yeah.
she just adores coconut. And I'm like, she'll make a carrot cake or something with coconut on top. I'm like, I'd try this if
Yeah.
it didn't have that white stuff on top.
I'm with you. Yeah.
So-
I love Loco Moco,
Yes. Yeah.
but I don't know, like, every time I have Loco Moco, I'm like, is this like something they actually eat a lot, or is
Yeah.
it like a thing they hype up at
Yeah.
like Hawaiian restaurants?
And like, have you been to Huckleberry?
Yes.
They have Loco Moco.
Mhm.
I think they recently added it. It's not the same. Like the gravy, it's about the gravy, dude.
Okay.
Like it's just different.
Yeah.
But yes, I do love Loco Moco. It's one of those things you just go to a restaurant and
Oh.
yeah.
Cool.
Hawaii culture is also big on eating. Like we eat till we die every meal.
That's probably why
Yeah.
I want to go there so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have, my family would have a Sunday dinner every time we would have visit them,
Yeah.
and they went to the same restaurant every Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, they still do, but they had these. I want to try and make them. We have a Christmas dinner that our
Mhm.
big friend group does, and
Yeah.
I want to try and make it this next year, or this coming Christmas. It was a bao bun with pork skin within
Oh,
not pork
dude.
skin, a duck skin and
Yeah.
like a duck sauce.
Please.
Dude, I asked the waiter, I'm like, just bring me more of this stuff. No one else is eating it, so I ate all of my family's, and then I was like, can you get me more of this? And they're like, no, you're on a course meal. I'm like,
Yeah.
fine. And then there was like 15 courses of just like
Oh, that's-
massive plates of food.
15 courses of stuff I didn't want. I started going to the other tables and trading the courses for
That's right.
duck bao buns.
Didn't we see this guy before?
It's like, man, I kind of want to try this bao bun, but he's offering me the Loco Moco for it.
Yeah. Where do you get Loco Moco around here?
I don't.
Okay.
It's usually like, I know Tiki has it here, but I don't really trust Tiki for authentic Hawaiian food.
Yeah.
It's good for what it is, but like
Yeah.
I kind of know it's not like that great. So usually I wait until like I hit up the west side somewhere and somewhere there has it.
Yeah.
But I want to go try it in Hawaii at like a legit place.
Yeah.
So
Oh, dude,
Bucket
I'm
list.
excited for you.
bucket list.
You guys are welcome to come. We have Hawaii culture is like big on celebrating first birthdays.
Okay.
So my daughter is gonna be born at the end of August. So next year, August, if you guys want to come down, you guys can come down
To Hawaii?
to Hawaii. Yeah, just come out.
Dude.
Just pull up.
Sure.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I'll start saving now.
And we can hit up all the joints.
That would be sick. That would be
Dude,
awesome.
I could totally save enough money for
Yeah.
me and the wife to come down and dude, we could have a podcast in Hawaii.
13 months. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's get
Yeah.
TJ's entire extended family on the podcast.
The pod. Yeah.
Like 13 people are sharing one mic.
Yeah. Might get out of hand.
So something we like to do to end off the show is we like to extend something we do to opt to the guests and let you ask us if you have any questions for us. We have one ask is that you don't ask where you see where we see this podcast going.
Yes.
We get asked that all the time. Nothing against those people that ask it, but we are tired of answering it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you asked this. So, because I did listen to the previous podcast, I was prepped for this one. So, if you're listening, listen to last week's podcast. Anyways,
Hey, thanks TJ. I just handed him $10.
For you,
Mm.
favorite memory regarding Hot Wheels.
Okay, I easily have this.
It's funny because I think the favorite memory is the reason we named
Yeah,
the podcast.
it 100% is. So the reason why we named this podcast the Staring at Hot Wheels podcast is when I was basically walking till I was 5, I would do this thing, and I do have memories of doing this, where at my parents' house I would line up all of my Hot Wheels against a wall, and I'd just like sit and stare at them.
Yeah.
And my dad, he would do this thing where when I went to the bathroom or something, he'd go and he'd like flip 2 or 3 of them facing the other way because I have them hood facing out, and he'd flip a few of them around, and then I'd come out, I'd be like, "Dad, I know you moved those Hot Wheels again." And he'd be like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I have really good memories of just like staring at them, and like I just love them. Something about like having such a expensive item in a car, and then having them so accessible for $1 is like just something that I think needs to be more widely like accepted, not only for kiddos that are up to 8, I think is what they recommend. Like 0 to 8 is what they're going for the target audience. But I think adults need to recognize that Hot Wheels are still like okay to own and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Wow.
that's definitely probably my favorite.
And like it was just one of my favorite stories that like Seth would ever tell me because of just the image in my head. It made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
And so when we always talked about like starting a podcast, and when we were thinking about what to name it, and like I don't know, I think someone brought up the story, and I was like, what if we just call the podcast Staring at Hot Wheels?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
my mom has the picture. She still hasn't sent me like a photo of it.
Once we get it, I'm gonna post it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a really funny photo. She has this like printed off, like you can tell it was one of those old digital cameras that had like the timestamp in the top corner and stuff of me just like sitting there staring at like hundreds of Hot Wheels against the wall. And yeah, it's my dad tells it way funnier than I can tell it because he's got firsthand experience of watching it and stuff. But yeah,
That's awesome. That's such a core memory. It sounds like.
yeah.
Sweet. Okay, for you, Adam.
Okay.
Same question. Favorite memory, but regarding D&D. Like, what's your favorite D&D memory?
I think
Oh.
I think I know what his answer is
Seth,
going to
jostle my memory because I'm drawing a blank.
Okay.
If not your favorite.
I
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if not your favorite, what's like maybe the first time you learned about D&D, like when you fell in love.
Dude, so I'll do that, and then I'll have Seth help me remember.
Of your favorite.
I had like a rough go of it getting into D&D because like I think I did like a one shot and I was hooked, dude.
Yeah.
Like D&D was like the perfect combination
So it's
of
Ronnie.
like what?
Was that with Ronnie?
No.
Okay.
It was like the perfect combination of like making a story, and like I love stories, like
Yeah.
just storytelling. It's like I think part of me thinks it's what I was made for, you know. But like the perfect mix of like storytelling, incorporating your own creations into a story, and just like time and community, and like it all like it hit every notch for me. It still does. Like I love like the system, the way it's set up, like and just like doing it with the right people. It's like there's nothing else like it, like entertainment wise.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But the dude that like did the one shot was so inconsistent, and like I was so inconsistent in like ever finding a group that like would do it like once a week or every other week or just consistently enough for it to be good. And this guy, he would start a campaign and then be like, no, I just thought of another campaign that I want to do instead, and it was terrible. It was grating. And so like I kind of like had to like give up, which was like super sucky. And I really didn't like, and it's cool because it's kind of like a God thing too. Like I didn't get fully into D&D until I came to Wenatchee. And I was getting involved in the youth group, and one of the youth kids, Gabe, like we were talking, and he was like, "Dude, I would love to play D&D, you know." I can't do Gabe justice with an American accent. But he was like, "I would love to play D&D," and like, I was like, I'll DM like a campaign for you guys, and I did. It was him and his two younger brothers, and so like that got me really involved with like the youth kids. And then Caden Slay, I talked to him and I was like, hey, like we just finished a campaign, do you want to hop in the next one? And so that's how I met Caden, and like we kind of like, me and Caden were kind of like, we want to like play with like some adults now, you know. And so we hit up I don't know how it started, but I was like DMing that campaign with Caden and the boys, and then our friend Keith was like, I want to play. I was like, well, I'm already DMing a game, but if you DM, I'll play in it. And then so that started. And then we were like, let's get Greg in this. And so it was me, Greg, and then another guy, I think his name was Bryce. He didn't stick around for too long. And then we were like, hey, Seth, do you want to hop in?
Yeah,
And
because
Seth was
Bryce like had a problem. He wasn't able to do
Yeah.
the Thursdays when they were wanting to. And then Keith reached out to me. It was like, hey, or Keith and Adam both were like, hey, do you want to
Yeah.
join? I'm like,
And,
I've
like,
never played D&D
This was in
before.
this was in a time where like I really didn't have any friends,
Yeah.
but because of that D&D thing we started doing with Greg and Seth and our friend Keith, like me, Greg, and Seth's relationship like blossomed into what it is, which is like such a strong like familial type friendship. And I really I believe that God used like D&D to do that.
Yeah.
Like it was great.
And it was so funny for me of like becoming better friends with Greg because he was like a youth group leader to me, and he taught me how to play guitar, and or not taught me, but like helped me learn better of how to play electric guitar and stuff.
Yeah.
And then to all of a sudden be an adult and like now be this in a friendship with a dude who I kind of viewed as a mentor in a way, and now end up one of my best friends. And
But like, and like because of that group, like we helped Keith through a breakup, like
Yeah.
after one of the sessions,
yeah,
and like just helped. Like it just became like a community thing. It was like, it just like created such like strong bonds, and like it was just cool to see like God use whatever He could and like work through that. It was really sick.
yeah.
And then I kind of phased out with the boys, and then Keith was in National Guard and he had to leave, and so me, Greg, Seth, invited our friend Brad, and then I took over DMing for Keith because I wasn't DMing the other one anymore, and then that became like our core group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I ran a campaign. It was like a 4-shot campaign for a second. Well, Adam wrote or you didn't write the next campaign, I don't think.
I don't remember. I'm trying to not to do the whole timeline thing.
Yeah.
But like, but like, yeah, that like really like cemented like our friendships and stuff.
Yeah. I think your favorite memory isn't a great memory because you had a bunch of player deaths.
Mm-hmm.
It was in Realm of the Frostmaiden. I wasn't there for it, but you had this like guttural like reaction of Caden's character.
Dude, like, yeah, this is like
It's either that
this
one
is
or
how-
Ade. I can't remember.
And like again, I'm a storyteller. I love D&D. I love incorporating like biblical themes into my D&D games. Like that's just how like I do it. But like they were fighting like the final boss.
Yeah.
Right? No, it wasn't even Caden's character. It was one of Gabe's younger brother's characters. But they were fighting. It wasn't the final boss. It was like the halfway through the campaign boss that I've been leading up to. And dude, they're fighting this boss and his character who he's playing a monk, just like a good-natured monk who traveled there just because he wanted to help. Like the boss got the better of him and he died. And dude, like he rolled that last like death saving throw and he failed it. And I had to describe and like it was like a metal like robotic dragon. I had to describe like the dragon's tail like spearing him, and like he like hits the ground, and his life begins to like go away. Dude, I started to cry. Like I started to like choke up. I could barely get through it.
Yep.
And like I described like because like his character's backstory was like he went to this monastery after his parents passed away with his sister. And like I described, as he passed away, like he saw his sister back at the monastery, like waiting for him to get back, and like he couldn't let go. But then like his parents showed up to like lead him like beyond, and we're like, it's okay, like she's gonna be okay, and like described that, and that's how this like character like passed on. And like everyone was like tearing up and stuff. And like, but the coolest thing is like he wasn't even mad that his character died. Like he was just so like involved in the story, and like it just happened so naturally, and like I was able to like mitigate and like kind of like help make that. And like, yeah, that was just a really cool experience.
It was either that or memories of Ade.
Yes.
That was Caden played this turtle character called Ade,
Yeah.
and just the way Caden presented Ade, and like he was so immersed in this person who didn't really understand the outside world, and he praised the sun, and like he taught.
So like every time the sun rose, he would clap.
Yeah.
And every time the sun set, the moon would come up, he would boo.
Yeah. And like he would talk super slow and stuff, and it the perfect amount of where like it wasn't annoying that he was doing these things.
There's a lot about like D&D that if you don't do it right, you can all just go wrong and fall apart.
Yeah.
But if you get like the right DM and like the right group of guys, like
Or gals.
yeah, and girls. Seth's wife plays with us whenever I DM.
Yeah.
Like it can be such like an amazing thing, just like telling a story with your friends and collaborating and coming up with it together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my very prolonged answer to your question.
That's a great answer. Yeah.
Do you have any other questions for us while we're in this space?
No,
That's
that was it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Those are the big ones.
Sweet.
Well, all
All
right. Thank you all for listening to the Staring at Hot Wheels podcast, and thank you, TJ, for coming on. Super good. Yeah, for where you can find us, Adam.
Well, I was gonna kind of.
Oh, sorry.
We're a little bit rusty, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I have a little moment
Oh,
to end
my
us off.
Forgot about
Yeah,
youth
we've
pastoral.
been talking about like the islands, and like the mainland and all these places. But in Scripture it says that the voice of the Lord is carried on the winds, and like it'll reach those who are yet to be reached.
Amen.
And so it doesn't matter if you're in Hawaii or Wenatchee or anywhere else in the world, like God is going to reach you. By God, I mean our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
That's right.
Let's go, baby.
Blow us away.
All right. But yeah, thank everyone so much for listening. For everything Staring at Hot Wheels, follow us on our Instagram at StaringHWPod. Listen to us on YouTube or Spotify. Thanks for sticking with us in our little hiatus. Nothing's changed. We're gonna go back to our normal 2 podcasts a month.
Yep.
And keep it consistent with you guys.
Yeah.
But we love all of you. TJ, thank you so much for being on.
Yeah.
It's such an honor to be on.
Such a great time. That was awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
Very good.
But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Alright,
for listening.
yeah.
Love you.
Try Loco Moco. It's great. Bye.